All right, welcome back to Brainflow TV. If you are not a subscriber of my bigger channel, which is SoFlow TV, then I suggest you go ahead and do so right now, especially if you're from the Caribbean, especially if you're Jamaican or of Jamaican descent. Thank me later. Anyways, welcome back, and this is the dude from SoFlow TV by the name of SoFlow over here on Brainflow TV. So recently, Jamaica closed its borders and rejected its own citizens. I never thought this could happen. I always told my audience that wherever you're from, that's the only place on the face of the earth that can ever not reject you. For instance, if you are a born American citizen, this is the soil you were born on, and it's established that you are an American citizen, you can go wherever you want to go in the world. They can always send you someplace else, but the one place that can never close its doors on you is the United States of America. Same thing for Jamaica, Canada, England, Antigua, Barbuda, Grenada, Trinidad, whatever country, right? And I was surprised to see Jamaica do it to its citizens, sent them out to sea after they had been at sea for almost a month. Jamaica closed its borders, rejected them when they came, and sent them sailing for another week all the way to Portugal, where they were rejected again. And now they are sailing to another part of Europe, I believe the United Kingdom, hoping that the UK will help them. And if the UK rejects them, they will have been at sea for well over a month and a half, and they will be just sitting out there in the ocean. Now, that's funny. The headline that follows says, "Deportees are coming." The Andrew Holness government bows down to Donald Trump as expelled expatriates are set to arrive on Jamaican soil in weeks. That means, in short, in a few weeks, even through this whole COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic craziness that's going on, you locked your borders to keep citizens, good law-abiding, tax-paying citizens out who went to work on a ship, and the ship was out to sea doing a around-the-world tour, and they could not get back in time, and you could not have made any special accommodations to let these people in. But you will now be forced to accept, and you have agreed to accept, these deportees who the United States of America are kicking out of their country and sending back to Jamaica. Wow. United States President Donald Trump speaks about the coronavirus in the James Brady press briefing room at the White House on Monday, April 13th in Washington. The article says that within a week or two, the Jamaican government will have to accept dozens of deportees from the United States. Will these deportees be carrying the coronavirus? Will these deportees be in the incubation period of the coronavirus where no signs and symptoms are showing, so the U.S. can say, hey, they're not carrying it. We already checked them. They're fine. You can have them. And 2 weeks later, boom, you have a couple of dozen deportees with fully blown COVID-19 situations going on, right? On the island, fresh from a deportation. And the Andrew Holness administration has a choice, but the choice comes with, how should I say it? Consequences if you make the wrong choice. So it's either you accept it or you reject it and face this, sanctions, okay? Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, made the disclosure on Monday, days after the U.S. President Donald Trump signed an order that imposes visa sanctions on countries that refuse to accept the deportation of their citizens, even during this global new coronavirus pandemic. The U.S. coronavirus infections are close to 590,000, and the deaths have topped 23,000. Now, mind you, poor little Jamaica only has 79 cases right now, right? Or is it 72? I know it's in the 70s. They haven't even had 100 cases yet. And here they're sending dozens of deported individuals from a place that has 590,000 cases and 23,000 deaths from this virus into Jamaica. And the government is going to accept them. So Jamaica closed its airspace to incoming passengers initially midnight on March 21st, for those of you who didn't know that, before they extended it for 2 days later as part of measures that were imposed by the Andrew Holness administration to contain the spread of this pandemic. Chang said that a batch of deportees was scheduled to arrive in the island earlier this month. However, he said that the deportation was delayed after discussions with U.S. authorities. Here's what he says. He says, "We have been able to delay the entrance, but we will have to accept them at some time. We will have to accept them within a week," he said. He could not give the precise number of deportees as disclosed that the U.S. usually sends, but the U.S. usually sends them month after month, 50 to 60 or so. Wow. He would definitely want to keep it. Listen, let's get past this. You guys can go to the Jamaica Gleaner where you can actually read the article for yourself. Here's what's going on though. It is funny to me that a country can close its borders on its citizens. Close its borders on its citizens. Reject them. Send them out to sea. Citizens who had done nothing other than went off to work and returned home from work. That's it. And they were sent out to sea. Do you know what it must feel like to be sailing on a ship from Jamaica bound for Portugal and you have no control over this ship? So Chang said that the batch of deportees was scheduled to arrive in the island earlier this month, and however, he said that the deportation was delayed because they had some discussions with the U.S. authorities. However, I've read that the U.S. authorities said, look, you don't have a choice. And matter of fact, if you take too long making that decision to take them, we will still impose that sanction on you. So you better hurry up and make that decision. If you take too long, we will actually be looking at you as someone that is putting the U.S. in grave danger. So he could not give the precise number of deportees that were expected, but he disclosed that the U.S. usually sends between 50 and 60 every 2 months or so. Shout out to you Jamaicans who did not know this, that 50 to 60 people were sent to Jamaica, back to the island from the United States of America, deported around every other month. And it is done quietly, and nothing is said about it, no fanfare raised about it. None of the newspapers, the Gleaner, the Star, none of the news entities, TVJ, CVM, none of them cover this. So these deportees are just coming back, flowing back into the country at a smooth pace, and nothing is being said. And the people are nonetheless wiser, right? I always wonder why they do that from the UK, because you know when a charter flight is heading for Jamaica from the United Kingdom and it has 55 criminals on it and they have 300 years of prison time between all of them and this and that, and they've been charged with rape and murder and malice, and they amp those flights up so much when they're coming from the UK that even us in the US, we're looking at it like, oh my God, that poor little island, they're sending like a plane full of criminals, hardened criminals, back to the island. But the US says no fanfare. No one needs to know. Probably put them on a plane right next to everybody else. I don't know. and make it look like they're regular travelers, or is it a special plane? I have no idea. I'm guessing it's a special plane because they could not possibly put these people on. Well, I mean, it's a liability issue. So I'm sure it's a special plane load of these people, deportees that come in every other month. 50 to 60. So this is where the number comes from. Because in I have numbers from 2016 to 2019. And the numbers are all 700 high, which means it's in the high 700s, almost 800 each year. So if you get 800 3 or 4 years in a row deported from the U.S., from the U.S. alone, you can imagine the amount. But this is not about deported from the U.S. This is about atrocity, I think, that just happened, right? And that atrocity is that the Jamaican government was able to reject its own citizens that did nothing. They were legal, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens that went to work on a cruise ship. The cruise ship is a cruise ship that goes very far. It takes long. They had been out to sea for almost a month. And when the ship came back to Jamaican waters or close to Jamaican waters to drop these Jamaicans off that worked on it, all 45 of them were sent sailing to Europe at the mercy of Portugal, who of course rejected them. Now, I am asking you, is this fair that the government is able to close their borders on these citizens, but yet still, when the U.S. says we're sending deportees in a few weeks and you're going to have to accept them or face sanctions, they say, send them, we're accepting them. Does this not give a clear picture of who's in charge here? Does this not give a clear picture of the powers that be as far as Jamaica goes? That the Jamaican government is not really putting the interest of the masses of the people up front? Or would you call this like shabby governing? I mean, you cannot blame the U.S. for wanting to get rid of those who they consider deportable. You're in another person's country and you're not supposed to be there and you're caught, then by all means, they have laws, rules, and regulations in these countries, which I totally support, and you have to abide by them. A lot of people were thinking all this would go away because of what's going on, but nope. Business is going to be carrying on as usual. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one, man. It is Brainflow TV. But remember, go check out my other channel, which is SoFlow TV, where you get to hear more on topics like these. I'm out. Peace.